it will appear on the top of my screen. So I'll answer it first. Okay, we have 26. Okay, until we start, anyone has anything to say? Like, what do you expect from this session, or anything top of your mind? You can just unmute yourself and say. And let's try to keep it very interactive. I don't want it to be a one-way traffic. Okay. So anyone? No.
Our participants are very much obedient. They don't talk.
Yeah, they are. Nonsense, nonsense. Yes. I see that. Everyone said that.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to our third session of the Preptember series. On this day, a Preptember series has been an initiative by a collaboration through multiple clubs of the Technical Society and NIT Rourkela to use the month of September to train and encourage people to get introduced to tech. So we start off with the basics of various topics. For today's session, we are trying to cover two concerns that few of the students have regarding starting off in the journey. So one is hackathons and how to participate in it, and the second is diversity in the field of tech. Uh, we apologize for the small misunderstanding that we had when we shared the posters, that both the posters at 6 p.m. The schedule is the first session will be taken by Chinmay, which is regarding the hackathons. The second session will be taken by Prezi, which is regarding diversity in tech. Chinmay is a final year student who has been part of DSC United or class for the past 16 to 18 months. He is an apt guy to take the session because he has been the winner at the first ever hackathon, full-fledged hackathon at NIT Rourkela. And from those days on, he has been participating in multiple hackathons and has won a few of them through Jugaad and some of them through actual intellect as well. So the journey of his is going to be something that can be inspiring for you and something which you can learn from. So without further ado, I would like to hand over the stage to Chinmay, and over to you, Chinmay.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Okay. Once again, is my voice audible?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Hi. Okay. So I'm Chinmay. I'll be taking this lesson on hackathons. I'm a final year student and I'm not from a computer science background. I am from metallurgy. So it's a bit uncanny seeing a metallurgy guy here. Okay, so I've been taking part in hackathons and I'm the one who comes up with the silly ideas in our club. Okay, I have come up with many. I have taken part in hackathons using those silly ideas, and I'll this is the first time I'm taking a workshop like this. So I hope I don't mess it up. So what I'll be taking you through basically is first demystifying hackathon, what a hackathon is. Then I'll take you through the basic steps of what goes through a hackathon, how, what are the things that you will benefit from in a hackathon. And lastly, I'll give you some of the examples how I managed to win a hackathon. Okay, so like we did a lot of Jugaad in some hackathons, and I have been managed to win some. So I'll just show the. So what I want you all to take away from this presentation is that you don't have to be the best coder or you don't have to know it all to take part in a hackathon. Okay, just jump into it and you will be invested enough in it. Okay, so before we begin, anyone has anything expecting out of this, please say it once. Any expectations, please, that will help me to conduct this better. Okay, I don't see any questions. Okay, okay, cool. We'll start. If along the presentation you feel like, then feel free to ask questions. And at any point of time, if I'm going too fast, just comment in the chat box and I'll slow down. Or if you want any explanation, I'll slow down. Okay. Okay. So let's begin. Someone has already left the meeting, man. Uh, okay. So the first slide. So what is a hackathon? So there's a small difference between uh, developing and hacking. Hacking doesn't necessarily mean that you hack into someone's Facebook account, Twitter account, or Insta account. It's just that in a software develop, like when you go for a proper development, you have adequate resources, the money, the time, the manpower, and the complete roadmap of foolproof roadmap of support from a company or your, yeah. But in hacking, that's not the case. You have a limited amount of time, like 2 days, 3 days at max. Then you don't even get to sleep and hardly even eat, and you don't have all the resources that you would have liked to. Time is at a premium here. So the conditions are not ideal, but what drives you is your motivation to create something. The best out of the limited amount of things you have. And the thing that we call jugaad in our language, basically that's what hacking in this sense means. And hackathon basically means that they will be giving you a broad topic. Generally, many of the hackathons are topic based. So what happens is that they will give you a broad topic and they will give you some resources. And after that, it's all up to you how you use two, three, four of those resources, combine them together, and come up with something. Okay, so that's basically what hackathon means. So next, I'll be going into what goes into a hackathon. Okay, so these are the basic 5 steps that will go into a hackathon. So there are a lot of hackathons out there in the market. Okay, so some of them are complete, like they have a hard topic that you have to stick to. Some have what we call tracks, like they will say you have to use a ML or artificial intelligence in your product. Some say you have to use data science. Some say you have to use a blockchain. Suppose they are called tracks, specific tracks. There are some hackathons which conduct it like that. Some are completely open, like you are free to do whatever you want. So it's the first step that goes into a hackathon is choosing the right hackathon. You don't have to be the jack of all trades. It's fine if you have some limitations. Okay, so that's the first step you have. Second is the choosing the right team and the topic. So what happens once you sign up for a hackathon is that you enter into a group, a pool of participants. So either you can have a topic and you build your team around it, like you have a topic, you list down that I am going to need a backend developer, a front-end developer, an app developer, a blockchain developer, a machine learning, or something like that. You list it out in the chat itself, and then you build your team around it. That's one way to go after. The other way is that you you look for things which require people which coincides with your skill set. If you are an app developer, then if you're an app developer, then you can offer your services like I'm good at app, I'm enthusiastic about something else, I can be good at this. Let's so you go to that thing and work. Okay, so and the thing is that whatever the topic is, you should feel about it. Like yes, that's what I want to waste my 2 nights and 2 days this weekend. That's a very crucial part because if you don't feel enough for the topic, so if things don't work out, you won't be motivated to fix things up. Like it's okay, it's broken. I was not invested enough already, so why should I care? Okay, so the third thing is delegate work properly. There will be more than one people in a team, of course. So you need to be reasonable enough to know how much work can you do, how much hours can you put in to that task. Like you must be having some other appointments, like someone may have classes or something. So yes, so be a little reasonable about how much time and effort you can put into it, and have some realistic expectations out of it. That's the delegating work. And the fourth is inevitable. Even if God Himself comes and enters into a hackathon, He will mess things up halfway through. Things will seldom work right. They will always go topsy-turvy. So be prepared. Whatever you have imagined, it won't work. It won't work out as is. You will have to come up with a solution or a jugaad or something. This is where real hackathon begins. Because halfway through, the hackathons usually ask for some kind of submission. Maybe you push your code to the GitHub repository, or you make a soft submission, like a outline of the idea, or something like that. So that is the time you will realize that you have either deviated from your topic or you have not been able to achieve the products that you were thinking of in the first place. That is inevitable, that's a part of the game. So nothing to be worried about. Even the most seasoned hackathon participants go through this phase. And this is the phase that flusters many of the first timers. But there's nothing to be worried about. There's always a way out of it. Fifth, all okay, the fifth will make things just work. Uh, Going ahead, I just told you how I did make things just work, but that is the name of the game. Sometimes we promise something to the judges that we will be developing so and so things built on a very fancy technology stack or something, but that is not how it turns out. So we go for a very lame approach, but to the judges, to other participants, the optics is right. Like it looks that this thing is working as it was advertised. So making things just work for the time, because no one expects you to build production level code. You like it's foolish to think that I make a code app in 2 days that will serve 10,000 requests or 1,000 users. Most of the apps that are built, they run in localhost only. Like they will have the instructions laid down in a readme in GitHub. Like you have to set it up on your phone, you have to run it on your phone. Okay, so it's fine if you are not able to deploy it somewhere, it's not on the Play Store, or you don't have a live website for it. They are too ambitious. Even the best of the apps won't be able to reach that far. So it's very fine. Okay, I hope your things have been clear until this point. Any doubt, any questions, any queries, please in the chat. Otherwise, if you are clear, just type a yes. I want to know that people are here and not left, like I need my online classes. Or anything. If you have any doubts, just unmute your mic and just speak up. Anything? Oh, thanks. Someone is unmuted their mic. You want to? Okay, is anyone speaking or?
No one is speaking, Chinmay. People have texted in the chat that they are excited and listening. So
Okay, fine. Okay, so now we'll be taking a look at what we can get out of hackathons. Okay, so first things, learning on steroids. Okay, so you will not get a chance better than a hackathon to learn. It doesn't matter even if you have not even heard of the technology that you are going to learn, as was the experience with me just last week. A week ago, I knew nothing about web backend development or machine learning or text natural language processing tool called GPT-2. I knew nothing about it, but in the last weekend, I learned a lot. I did not win that hackathon, but I learned a lot. Okay, so it's basically learning on steroids because some days you have to find motivation, which is not easy. Some days motivation finds you. So as you can see in the picture, the bear is the hackathon and you cycling is the motivation and your tech stack that's going to increase rapidly in the upcoming weekends if you take part in a hackathon. Also, what works out is that in hackathons you will come across a lot of mentors, a lot of uh, fellow hackers who will be more than willing to help you out if you have some bug or you want to optimize something or you just want to level up your game, your coding game. Just post it in the common group and rest assured you will get a response. Even if the response is sorry, bro, I don't know, but you can follow this guy or ask this guy to up your game or fix this out. Okay, so you won't get a ecosystem like this even if you pay for it in your college. Even if you go to the Ivy League college, you won't get an ecosystem like this or any online course. Okay, it's basically learning by doing. Next is projects under your belt. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you are aiming for better placements or you just want to become a better developer. Nothing tells more about your coding proficiency as much as projects under your belt. Okay, that's the best testimony a coder can have, a GitHub repository. Okay, so what happens is that on your own, it's a bit difficult that we don't find topics to work on. We don't find topics to work on, like what should I work on and stuff. But what happens in hackathons that week after week, we just go on adding one more repo to our GitHub repository list. So nothing better than doing this. And one more thing is that if your repository, if your project is good enough and uh, people around the globe get a look at it. Okay, so you never know who your next collaborator might be. So I have had people who have forked my branch from Germany, from Bhutan, from Canada this morning on the repository that I made in my hackathon, previous hackathons. Okay, so next is, yeah, the freebies. So you get to network with a lot of people. Maybe the next $1 million idea that you have, you will be developing with someone whom you met over a hackathon. So networking potentials are huge. It does not matter if he's a vice president at some company or he's a first year student at some college. It's a great leveling field. So you can get people from all walks and you can network and they will not have any ego whatsoever. They will network with whoever comes their way. Okay. Next is swags. So some of you may not be acquainted with this thing called swags. It is basically the stickers that you see on the laptop of a developer, and it's the pride of every developer, as we like to say. More are the stickers that you collect, more is the like it's a testimony of the fact ki, I have taken part in a hackathon, and we like it's like we turn child again when we see a sticker. Okay, just like how we used to collect stickers during the childhood. That's what. So they send out stickers and T-shirts. If you win certain events, they send out T-shirts as well. If you take part in MLH hackathons, they will give out stickers for every successful submission that you make. Also, there are credits to some websites that they give out. For example, there are hackathons going on. If you take part in a MLH hackathon, you get free domain names, which usually cost $10, $15 a year. Then there are stuff like Twilio. They give out Twilio credits. They give out Google Cloud Platform credits, which range from $25, $50 to $300. All those credits you can accumulate and you can use it for your next big project, because it's it hurts if you have to spend real money on some foolish idea that you want to work on. So it's a good way to accumulate credits like that. And right now we are all having online hackathons, but online all the hackathons that we'll be seeing are actually in person. Like they are offline hackathons, you have to be there in person to okay, so you have to be in person. So what COVID actually has done is a blessing in disguise, because now we have access to a lot of hackathons that were not possible because they are mostly European or US based hackathons. So we will have to go there and take part. So that's not possible. Even within India, we can't go because our college does not provide us with enough number of leaves. So this is actually a blessing in disguise that we should take as much benefit as we can out of it. And of course, if you win, you get the bragging rights. That's a no-brainer. Okay, so okay, next, where can I find them? So okay, uh, okay. So there are mostly these 5 platforms that you can get a wide range of hackathons from. So mostly DevPost and DevFolio. Both of them are the same kind of platforms. It's just that DevPost is international and DevFolio is Indian. DevFolio was created keeping Indian hackers in mind and to uplift the Indian hacking culture. Hacker Earth, all of us know for practicing coding and algorithms and stuff. They host corporate hackathons. What corporate hackathons means is that a company comes up with a problem statement that benefits them as a company. And for example, American Express recently had a hackathon in which it had problem statements related to financial, like digital financial technical problems. Fintech is what we say. So if you win at that hackathon or you hold a rank, you there's a good chance that you will get a job at American Express. There are people from NIT Rourkela who have got jobs from Hacker Earth hackathons. Okay, so that's a good place to get recruited. There's a swag in it. Major, okay, dare to compete. Major League. Major League Hackathon is an umbrella organization. Actually, it supports the various hackathons that take place around the world. It provides them with the sponsorship and swags, as I said, the mentors and the whole framework. And of course, our own NITR devs, which we tried. We are trying to build an ecosystem of good coding culture in our college. So NITR Devs is the place to be if you want to have news of all the upcoming hackathons or any problem that you have. We'll try to help you out if it's about forming a team or learning something new or ideation, the ideating part. So NITR Devs is the place to be. So now I'll be taking you through some of the stuff that like some of the projects that I have worked on a hackathon. As such, I have worked on a lot of projects on my own, but I'll be showing just the hackathon part. So this was my first hackathon back in 2018, November 2018. So we had a very ambitious idea of uh, a navigation app. What that navigation app does is that all the navigation apps that we see, it's like they want to save time. They want to show you the shortest path or the most optimized path. What we thought of was rather than saving time, why not save money? Because there's this thing, if we add green to something like eco something, then it garners attention. So what we came up was with a very fancy title using Google Maps API, A-star and Orion algorithm. A-star is just a graph algorithm which is used to find the shortest distance between 2 points. I still don't know the theory of it. Orion basically is a algorithm which is used by a postal service in USA called UPS, which is based on the left turns and right turns. That's a bit mind-boggling. So I will not go into that. But this is serious stuff. Like they took 15 years to build the Orion algorithm, and it's still not public. Okay, it's a secret that they still guard pretty well. What we what we did at the end was that we came up with a very silly solution. So this let me just highlight it for you. This this equation that you see, this is one equation. The whole app is just one runs on this equation where we are basically counting the number of left turns and the number of right turns in our route, and then we are saying if any route has the maximum percentage of right turns, we are declaring it as the best. That is not exactly how Orion works, and that is not even remotely how Orion works, but we somehow managed to get the optics right. Okay, so what happens when you submit a project is that they will ask you to write a description, a complete description of what your problem statement is, how you are going to approach it, what is the technologies you have used, and how to get it up and running, just in case they want to see it working. So we got the optics right. We could describe it properly. We could say why our project would work, and we explain. And also in many of the hackathons, they ask us to show a video, a 2 minute video showing our product in action. This was not the case here, but it still worked. We had a running API which worked on a very bullshit algorithm. It's just one equation, but it somehow got the work done, and we actually won the hackathon. It's not yet, but that is what I said. Like 50%, it was midnight or 4 when we realized no, this is not going to work, because we did not know enough about A-star and Orion and stuff. So we had to come up with something. We had to hack the solution, and we came up with something, and we were rewarded for that. This is not like I would not suggest you to actively go on doing Jugaad, but if push comes to stuff, please be prepared to do this stuff. Ah, and one more thing. So after we won, we actually got an Amazon Echo. So it was very well worth. Okay, so next is what we did. Go crossing. This is a genuine subject. Okay, so like one of our friends started a startup for e-commerce based startup for tier 3 cities, which are usually neglected by many of the uh, apps. So we started out small, but DSC had actually offered to develop the app for free to him. He's a friend of ours. So we had made it separately, but we submitted it in a hackathon called Hackathon, and we won the third prize. This was a genuine hackathon. This was a genuine product that we developed. But what we developed in the process is what was of more value to us. That is like this was the first product that we built to scale. Like we were expecting many people, like it's an e-commerce app, right? So it's supposed to work on many people. There were hundreds of listings of products people were supposed to add to cart and remove and buy, pay, search, or maintain and order. It's a full-fledged app, you can check it out if you want. So that is one thing that we learned is how to write maintainable code. That is something that is practiced in the industry. In hackathons, we don't expect you to write maintainable code, but that is a major paradigm that we have to cross, and that is the biggest thing that we learned out of it. And I'm before this, I have tried to learn this, but I was not able to. But after this thing happened, that is where there some structure, some semblance came to my code. Okay. Okay, so this is the third hackathon that I took part about a month ago. The F bomb, like thinking. Okay, so that is the third hackathon. What happened was that Auth0 conducted this hackathon. Auth0 is the company that came up with two-factor authentication, which means the OTP and stuff that you see. Okay, so they are the people who came up with two-factor authentication. So their hackathon was security based, like how can you prevent fraud and stuff. So what we came up with was a very fancy solution once again. Like we will make a service which will detect fraud, like phishing websites. So like there are examples for let's say that Facebook.com, but in this case the O's in Facebook are actually zeros. So it's actually face b00k.com. But to the naive users, they won't know. So they will enter their credentials just like they would in a Facebook web page. So that is basically what's a phishing attack. We tried to prevent that. We thought that we will extract the context, then we will do a vision search like and then match stuff, mad things, all beyond our capacities. Till that point, we have never tried that. Until that point, I was responsible for making a browser extension. I had no idea about JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. And suddenly I am asked to make a browser extension. But, okay, so that's, but what happened after that hackathon is, okay, so how the thing worked. So again, we 50% down, we had to come down to Jugaad. This line that you see was our whole project. Basically, what we were doing is basically taking two strings and finding how much percent similar the strings were. Like if we search for FACEB00K on Google, it will give us an autocorrect of Facebook, right? So what we did was we then took those two strings and compared, and if the strings match, then we say it is a safe website. If they don't match, we say it's a dangerous website. So be careful. I know that sounds like a lot of BS, but we had that. We did that in the 11th hour quite literally. We were just minutes before we submitted the project of ours, and we were actually selected. We actually were fourth. Like globally, we were selected as the fourth position. And again, this is because we did not deploy it anywhere. The browser extension was not in the Chrome Web Store or anywhere. The web app was not required anymore because all on local host, but it doesn't matter. We just took a simple video in our phone, showing the stuff in Excel. We described it in a very lucid manner, and finally it won us the prize. Four. What happened after this is that I was actually a bit more comfortable with web development. I actually published a browser extension to the extension store. After that, not this one, a different one, but it's a pretty nifty application that I made. I'm happy for that. And without this hackathon, it would not have been possible. Okay, so the last, before I bore you out, this is the last one that I had. Last week, I took part in a hackathon about which I was saying the machine learning and stuff. So this hackathon had a theme of first day back. So the schools in USA start around this time, like the summer vacation is over around this time. So the students are going back to the schools. Right? So the theme was how to help people go back to the schools. So I took two juniors along with me in this hackathon. Like I just wanted to mentor them, but it turned out that I was the one who got mentored by the hackathon. So what I proposed was a very silly idea that let's make an app that generates excuses. It may sound very funny on the top of it, but what we were actually using was a very complicated, very sophisticated model called the GPT-2, which produces human-like language on its own. Even if you don't give it an input, it will write a whole essay for you. The thing is that it's not that easy to handle, and it's even more difficult to actually deploy it on a server. So what I actually learned here, you can see the whole list of it. I learned GPT-2. I learned how to make a server using Flask, how I made APIs, how I used Google Cloud Platform, how I used Kubernetes, Cloud Run. These are all sophisticated mumbo jumbos before I took part in that hackathon. But now that I have taken part in that hackathon, within this 1 week, I have made a Twitter bot for myself at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. Then I have made some silly projects, but very funny projects with GPT-2. Those things would not have been possible without this hackathon. This is the I did not win anything. I did not win anything, but this is by far the most effective hackathon I have ever had, and this was the ideal hackathon for me because I learned so much out of it. There were two other people who also learned, like there was an app developer and there was a web developer with me. They also learned a lot, but I can only speak for myself, and it was a very enlightening experience for me. So yeah, ideas. You may say that I don't have ideas. I don't know where to get ideas from. It doesn't matter. All you need to do is that you need to keep going through them even when there's no hackathon. So there are a lot of places that you can get ideas, like GitHub repositories. Let's say that you are good in Python. You have interest in Python. What you do, that you just go to GitHub, you search for Python, and it will show you a list of repositories that they have used Python. Then you see if you find something interesting or not, and then go ahead and explore. Then there are project submissions in previous hackathons. All the hackathon submissions are public on GitHub. Anyone and everyone can view them at any point of time. So let's say if you are taking part in a hackathon, this weekend there's an MLH hackathon called Born Hackathon, which is based on food. What you can do is that you can go to the previous year submissions and you can take cues from those submissions. It doesn't matter if you take the idea, but you have to implement it differently and way better than them. You can steal the idea, but you cannot copy the code. That's strictly against. Okay, so I'm not saying great leaders steal. It's a Steve Jobs quote. Okay, Steve Jobs quote on a Google slide. Okay, so then there are Medium articles and web articles. Articles like hackers. I have written a couple of articles. People like to write articles after they have learned something significant. So you can go through those articles. We share them actually on NITR Devs. So again, if you are a part of NITR Devs, then you must have ordered them. If you are not, please join. So we'll be sharing news, we'll be sharing some repositories, we'll be sharing some articles and random stuff. It will light the bulb in your head. So, and of course, social media, there are Twitter handles, there are Facebook groups, there are Insta pages which highlight such projects, awesome projects, silly projects, projects which actually need people to contribute and stuff like that. Okay, finally, first time hackathons can be daunting, but I want to assure it on behalf of the whole coding community in NIT Rourkela, if you want any kind of help or you want a smooth transition into the world of hackathons, please feel free to contact us. We'll provide you with any kind of help that you need. Like you will also find many fellow hackers in our own college itself. So you can team up here itself and you can go there and you can develop. So you can actually start working on it before like planning stuff and in the college itself before the hackathon starts. So it's good to go in with a few known people that don't are completely unknown if that makes you uncomfortable. So we'll be sharing the link to join NITR Devs. Please feel free to join. Thank you. Now, I don't think anyone will ask me any question, but still, questions? Hello.
Chinmay, can you hear me?
Huh? Yes, I can hear you.
Also, you can also tell them about the APIs and the resources like image processing APIs, text processing APIs, which made the work very easy.
But your voice is not clear. Your voice is not clear.
Can you hear me now?
Huh? Okay. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I think I got the gist. I got the gist of what you are trying to say. So there are some things that you don't actually have to implement on your own. Let's say that you want a login. You want login system in your app or your website or stuff. You don't have to do it from scratch. There are APIs like Auth0 and Firebase authentication and stuff. You can integrate to reduce your workload. That's very fine. There are open APIs. You just search. Let us say you want to see the weather. So there, you just search for free weather APIs, and you will get a list of APIs like Open Weather and the Weather Channel and things like that. You want to translate one text to another, so you can look for APIs and services which are already there to lessen your burden, and you can expand your horizon, like what you want to do with your hack. Okay, so you don't necessarily have. Only thing is that you have to mention. You have to be respectful, and you actually have to mention, I have used these APIs, or if you are using a third-party library, let's say you just mention, I have used this. That's cool. Okay. So anything
Chinmay, there's a question from Vikas
people?
on chat. Chinmay?
Okay, on chat.
He has
Let's.
asked how to select an open source project to contribute.
Okay, open source project. Okay, Vikas, are you? Can you just speak it up? unmute yourself and you just yeah, I would like to talk it up.
Yeah, hi. Actually,
Then
I'm looking for maybe
yeah, hi.
projects regarding any programming language. Like I don't have any specific project in
Yeah,
mind. So like on a broader area, like how to
yeah,
select any project to contribute to develop the.
yeah. So first thing, okay. So what is your stack? Like, what are the things you know?
Actually, right now only Python. I have
What are
learned
the
only Python. So other than that, I don't have any
yeah.
like it's not like mean stuck or anything. I'm more oriented regarding on Python.
Yeah, yeah, it's very fine. So Python is actually one of the coolest languages to begin with because there are a lot of things you can do with just 5 lines of code or something like that. Okay,
Yes, yeah,
so
okay.
what I said that first, if you go to if you want to do serious stuff, then you go directly to GitHub and search for Python, then it will give you a list of all the repositories which use Python. Okay.
Okay.
Then there are what you can do is that if you want a filtered down list, let us say that many of you must be knowing about Google Summer of Code, right? Also, you
Yes.
must be knowing because I think
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
I
Na.
know.
So what they do is that they have a narrowed down list of companies, which organizations which want developers to work with them. What you can do is that you go to their website, let it be previous years or previous last to last year's project, but you can actually search for Python there. Like all the organizations that need Python developers or have worked with a Python developer in past. That way, next you from that website you can see go to their GitHub pages directly, and then you can see the issues, see the repositories that they have. But once you
Okay.
see the repository, that's not it. Okay, that's not it. Once you see the repository, don't try to jump into the code directly. First, go to the issues. Okay, there are a lot of issues, and many of them actually have tags. Like some will be easy, medium, tough, beginner friendly, good first fix, and stuff like that. So, depending on how much proficient you are, you can filter them by those tags, and you can see then they will show the error, like there's a bug in this or there's an issue. This is the steps how you can reproduce that issue in your system, and we would like someone to fix it up. That is where you can say I would like to fix and I would like to work with you. Got it, Vikas?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Great. Thank you. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so the issues are a good thing. Like if you don't have ideas on your own, that is one thing you can do. One more thing that you should do is if you are into this thing is there's October coming ahead, and there's a thing called Hacktober Fest, which is conducted by Digital Ocean. What they do is that basically they encourage people to contribute to such open source repositories, and if you complete 4 successful contributions, they will send you over a t-shirt and goodies. Okay, so it's basically free t-shirts and stickers again, swacks. Okay, so we have been, I took part personal on my own in 2018, 2019, DSC NIT Raukala conducted workshops to facilitate people, like to let people know that there's something called Hacktoberfest. There's a lot of exposure that you will get out of that. So you can look into that as well. Okay, so they don't ask for industry level coding. It may be a very small app in which you can contribute something. Even my personal repositories are up for what contribution. If someone is into browser extensions or Flutter development, then you can contribute in my repository also. It's as simple as that. And no contribution is big or small. It doesn't matter if you are contributing to a very small repo or the biggest organization in the world. Open source contributions are always valued in the tech community. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Anyone
Yes.
else?
Yeah.
Anything? Okay, thank you. Anyone? If no one has any more questions, we'll move on to the next session that Prezi will be delivering. Should we move?
I hope Chinmay has been able to clear all of your queries. Thank you all for staying in for the session. We'll be having the next session right away. The next session is taken by Prezi. Prezi is a final year student at NIT Rourkela.